This is how the 2006 FIFA World Cup would have looked if all the countries involved had the same amount of wealth and population, which are huge factors in determining how much ability a country has to produce a good team. It doesn't decide it, but it influences it. So the first match was Germany versus Costa Rica. This is the real score in 2006. Here we make an economic adjustment if necessary. So Costa Rica, because of the smaller wealth and population, gets 1.5 goals, which is a lot, but Germany still comes away with a justified win. So remember, we're using real scores down here at the bottom. Poland versus Ecuador, 0-2. This was the real score in 2006, and here is the economic adjustment if necessary. Ecuador gets 2.5 goals total after economics are considered, which considers both wealth amount and population amount. We're bringing you the best rankings in the world from the worst announcer in the world. England versus Paraguay. 1-0, England won it, but Paraguay's going to win on the economic difference because it's so huge. 1.5 goals is awarded to Paraguay, and they are now second behind Ecuador, above Germany. The rating decides the rank order, and that's a mix of score difference percentage and winning percentage. As Trinidad and Tobago and Sweden draw 0-0, Trinidad's going to be awarded a whole goal. Now, these matches so far, we've had a lot of huge economic difference. That's not always the case, but that's how this World Cup has started so far. As we head into match 5, Argentina versus Ivory Coast. 2-1, Argentina wins. 1 in 2006. Ivory Coast is going to get a whole goal, actually, for economic difference. So the game is going to end in a draw after economics are decided according to the algorithm. Serbia, Montenegro versus Netherlands, 0-1. Netherlands won, but I think they're going to get a whole goal. No, they're going to get a half goal. Now, this really helps you with in draws if you've got an extra half goal, but it does help your score difference too, even if you win or lose. But still not an ideal start for Serbia, Montenegro. Ecuador in first, Trinidad in second, Netherlands in third, Paraguay fourth, Germany fifth. Mexico beats Iran 3-1. Iran gets a half goal for economic difference to cut the lead in half, but Mexico still with a relatively comfortable win. They're now tied in third with Netherlands. Match 8 coming up. Australia versus Japan. Australia wallops them 3-1. There's a significant economic difference, a whole goal for Australia. That's surprising. I thought they would have got a half goal, but they get a whole goal. 4-1 is the final score after economics are considered. Japan down in 11th, Australia now in third alone, below Trinidad, Tobago, above Mexico, Netherlands, and Angola loses to Portugal 0-1, but they get a whole goal for economic difference. So after the economics are factored in, the game is a draw according to the algorithm. We're heading into match 10, America versus Czechia. Czechia schools them 0-3. It's not even close. They're going to get a huge economic bonus as well. 4-0 to 4.5 is the final score. That'll put Czechia in first and America in last place. The next match is going to be Italy versus Ghana. Italy 2-0. But let's check out this economic difference. It's going to be 2. We've got a lot of disparity in this World Cup. It's usually not this much, but yeah, this one is crazy, and the game ends in a draw between Italy and Ghana. And they're both tied in 8th with a few other countries, as South Korea beats Togo in 2006 2-1. But Togo is very small, very poor. They get a 3-goal economic bonus, and they're going to win by twice as much, 2-4 against South Korea, who had an amazing performance in 2002. So Togo's going to be tied in 5th with Mexico and Netherlands. France versus Switzerland. It ends in a draw. Switzerland is going to get a half goal here to get a narrow victory. And remember, the rating is a mix of score difference percentage and winning difference percentage. As we head into match 14. Brazil versus Croatia. Brazil won 1-0. Croatia gets a whole goal for economic difference. And the game ends in a draw, according to the algorithm, after economics are considered. And they're tied in 9th with a bunch of other countries. Czechia in first, Ecuador second, Trinidad and Tobago third, Switzerland 4th, Australia 5th. Spain demolishes Ukraine. Ukraine will get a whole goal, but it's still a whomping 4-1. Spain now in 5th place with Australia. Ukraine in 13th place with Japan. Below South Korea, and Serbia, Montenegro, and Iran. Above France, Tunisia and Saudi Arabia tie. Tunisia is going to get a half goal, and they will get the narrow victory. 2.5-2 is the final. Germany versus Poland. Germany 1-0. Let's see what the economic difference here. It's at least a half. It's a whole goal. That's real bad for Germany. 1-1. And they're going to be in 9th place. Let's see. Poland's going to crawl up a bit to 15th place. Below South Korea, Serbia, Iran, and above Japan and Ukraine, as Ecuador gets a huge win over Costa Rica. 3-0. No significant economic difference, not at least not enough for the algorithm. And Ecuador is going to take first place now. And next up is England versus Trinidad and Tobago. 2-0 in favor of England. Is that going to be enough? It is! Just by a half goal, England beats Trinidad and Tobago. They'll get a big win and they'll be up in 10th place with several other countries. Ecuador in 1st, Czechia 2nd, Switzerland 3rd, Australia 4th, and Spain 4th as well. And a few countries tied in 5th. Sweden versus Paraguay. 1-0 Sweden. Is that? I don't think that's going to be enough. Paraguay is very small. Very poor. It's going to end in a draw after economics are considered. And that means Paraguay will be in 7th below Tunisia, above Germany. Sweden in 12th place. Argentina versus Serbia. Montenegro 6-0. Ouch, that's a huge one. That's a terrible loss for Serbia and Montenegro. And Argentina up in 5th place with a 5.5 goal difference on that game. And their total scoring difference now is 104 plus 104.8%, as Netherlands beats Ivory Coast 2-1. That's not going to be enough, though. It's going to end in a draw after economics are considered. So they are, according to the economics and the algorithm, they're equal in that match. And Ecuador is still in 1st place right now. Mexico versus Angola, 0-0. Angola is going to pull away with a significant victory here against Mexico, 0-1 after economics are considered. They're now in 7th, right under Togo, and above Tunisia. Maybe not right under, they're about 12 rating points different. Portugal versus Iran, 2-0, Portugal. And Iran struggling right now. They're going to be in 20th place after that. Portugal up in 6th, looking pretty good with 1 win and 1 draw and a rating of 87.5. We're going into match 25, Czechia versus Ghana. Czechia had that big win against America, but not this time. Ghana schools them 0-2, plus a whole goal for economic difference. The final score after economics are considered 0-3. And Ghana is going to move up to 7th. They're below Togo, above Angola. Czechia falls to 12th place, below Netherlands, above Germany. Italy versus America. The real game ended 1-1, but Italy is going to pull off with a narrow victory, 1.5-1 against America. And that's not a very strong game for Italy at all. America is now in 25th place. Italy in 12th place. Japan versus Croatia. 0-0. Croatia's going to get this win on the economic difference easily. They're going to get a whole 2 goals, in fact. And that's going to move them up to 5th place with Portugal with a rating of 87.5. Next game, Brazil versus Australia. Brazil 2-0 with a comfortable victory. No significant economic difference. Brazil moves themselves up into 5th with Croatia and Portugal. Australia down in 15th under Germany, above Trinidad and Tobago. France versus South Korea. The game ended in a draw. Let's see what happens. Is there a significant economic difference? There is. South Korea with a huge victory over France. That is not a good look, France. And South Korea will be in 19th place and France in 22nd. Ouch, that's embarrassing, folks. Way down there. Togo versus Switzerland, 0-2 Switzerland. This should be enough for a win. Oh, it's not. Togo pulls away with a draw on the 2-goal economic difference. So Switzerland now in 9th with Paraguay, and Togo, where is Togo? They're in 8th, right above that. Saudi Arabia versus Ukraine. Ukraine with a huge win, 0-4. They also get a half goal. Ukraine bouncing back from that terrible loss last time are going to move themselves up into 14th, right below Germany and above Australia. Saudi Arabia struggling in 24th place above America, below Iran. Spain versus Tunisia, 3-1. Spain wins this one. Tunisia will get a whole goal, but that's not going to be enough. Spain pulls away with a big victory. It's going to move them into second with a rating of 90. Tunisia in 18th place, below England and Ivory Coast, above South Korea. Ecuador versus Germany, a huge game, 0-3. Germany wins. Let's see the economic difference. It's 1.5. They'll cut it in half, but Germany's going to pull away with the win, and they're performing quite well now. They've had 2 really good games, and they are below Togo and above Paraguay and Switzerland in 8th place with a rating of 56. Spain takes first place now. Costa Rica versus Poland. Costa Rica 1, Poland 2. Costa Rica equalizes with the economic difference. And since Ecuador went way down, like I said, Spain is up in first, Argentina second, Brazil third. Croatia and Portugal also tied in third as Sweden and England face off. It's a draw, 2-2. Sweden's going to get a half goal here for economic difference, and they're going to pull away with an important and narrow victory over England. And they're now in 19th place, England in 20th place. We're going into match 36, Paraguay versus Trinidad and Tobago. Big match for Paraguay. They win it 2-0. No significant economic difference. Not enough for the algorithm. And Paraguay is going to be still in 5th, I think, with a rating of 80.1. Trinidad down in 22nd, below South Korea, above Poland. Portugal versus Mexico. 2-1. Portugal wins it. They're even going to get a half goal, so they'll win by more than twice as much. And Portugal fights their way up into 3rd place, right below Argentina, above Brazil and Croatia. Iran and Angola 1-1, and Angola's going to get a whole goal economic difference. They're going to beat them by twice as much. Angola is going to fight their way up into 7th place, under Paraguay, above Ecuador. Iran is now in 27th place, below France, above Saudi Arabia. Netherlands versus Argentina, 0-0. They fought it out. There's no significant economic difference. Netherlands has less population but more wealth. Argentina, more population, less wealth. And according to the algorithm, they're relatively equal. Argentina will be in 4th after that. Netherlands in 14th. Ivory Coast 3, Serbia, Montenegro 2. And that's going to be a half goal as well for Ivory Coast. And they're going to move up into 14th, below Czechia, above Netherlands. And Serbia, Montenegro with a terrible tournament in 28th place with Saudi Arabia, above America, below Iran. Czechia versus Italy, 0-2. Italy wins it. Czechia gets 1 goal to cut it in half, and Italy is going to be up in 9th place with Togo now. They're crawling their way up. Czechia in 16th, below Australia, above Tunisia. Ghana versus America. 2-1 in favor of Ghana was the score in 2006, but they're going to get a huge 5.5 goals. The final, if both countries had about the same wealth and population, would be 7.5-1, according to the algorithm. And Ghana fights their way up into 1st place with a brutal victory over America with a rating of 103.0. Japan versus Brazil, 1-4 was the score. That's predictable, I think. A strong match by Brazil. They also get a half goal for economic difference, and they're going to move into 2nd. So we got Ghana 1st, Brazil 2nd, Spain 3rd, Portugal 4th, Croatia 5th. Argentina right behind Croatia as well in the rating. Croatia versus Australia, can they keep it up? It's a draw, they can. They're going to get the win for this, but that's going to actually hurt their score difference. They'll get a whole goal, I think, but yeah, that's actually Gonna move them down all the way to 7th on the score difference. They're gonna be tied with Angola. Still good, but not as much as they could have hoped for. Ukraine versus Tunisia. 1-0. Ukraine with a big victory. No significant economic difference. Ukraine goes from 14th to 10th place. Tunisia now down in 21st under Mexico above Trinidad Tobago. We're going into match 46. We got Saudi Arabia versus Spain. Can Spain keep it up? They get one. I think that's going to be enough. I think Saudi Arabia will get a half goal. They will. But it's going to hurt their rating here because of the economic difference. Not by too much. They're going to maintain their third spot place. I should say third place spot. And Togo versus France are now going to be battling it out. And 0-2 in favor of France. Togo is going to get 5.5 goals. And they are going to move up to 9th. Or they're going to be in 9th place with a rating of 73.1. And France is going to take the big loss. They're going to be down in 26th place under Costa Rica, above Iran. Switzerland versus South Korea. Switzerland wins it. No miracles for South Korea this tournament except for that win against France on the economic difference. Switzerland's also going to get a half goal bonus. Still nowhere to be seen though. Oh wait, they are. They're in 6th place. Under Argentina, above Paraguay. Germany versus Sweden. 2-0 with Germany with a huge victory. Sweden's going to get a half goal. That's not going to be enough. Germany's going to move from 13th up to 11th. Sweden now down in 21st under Tunisia over Trinidad and Tobago. And Ghana still holding first place. Argentina versus Mexico. 2-1. Argentina wins it. They even get a half goal for economic difference. And Argentina will be in 5th place under Portugal above Switzerland. Mexico down in 22nd place below Trinidad and Tobago above Poland. England versus Ecuador. 1-0. England wins it. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't think so. Ecuador is going to equalize on the economic difference bonus. So Ecuador is in 11th under Germany above Italy now. And England in 18th under Australia. That's embarrassing, above Tunisia. Portugal versus Netherlands. 1-0. Portugal wins it. Portugal also gets a half goal economic difference. They're going to be in 3rd place now, below Brazil, above Spain. We're bringing you the best rankings in the world from the worst announcer in the world. As Italy and Australia face off in match 53. 1-0. Italy wins it. Australia gets a half goal. So Italy's going to get a narrow victory. They're going to be in 12th place. Australia in 18th with a rating of 8.8. Next match is going to be Switzerland versus Ukraine. Switzerland was in 6th place and they're going to lose. Ukraine's even going to get a half goal. They're going to lose by 1.5 and Switzerland ruins their chances. They go from 6th to 13th with a terrible loss. Ukraine fights their way up to, where is Ukraine? They're all the way in 9th now with a nice rating of 70.9. Brazil 3, Ghana 0. And that's probably going to change their positioning here. Brazil stays in 2nd. Ghana falls all the way to 8th. Portugal now takes the 1st place spot. A really rough game on that score difference for Ghana. Spain wins 1-3, or Spain loses 1-3 against France. Ouch. They were in 3rd. That's going to take them all the way down. That's a bad loss. All the way down to 12th place below Italy, above Switzerland. Germany versus Argentina. 2-1 in favor of Germany. Argentina gets a half goal. That's not going to be enough. Argentina's going to fall all the way to 8th place. I think Germany already stayed in 9th place. Portugal 1st, Brazil 2nd, Paraguay 3rd, Angola, Croatia 4th, Togo 5th. Italy versus Ukraine. 3-0. Italy with a huge victory. Ukraine was starting to get on a roll after a bad start, but now Italy takes them out, and Italy moves up into 6th place with a rating of 71.7. Ukraine falls to 14th below Ivory Coast, above Czechia. England versus Portugal. 0-1. I'm not sure. That one might be the shootout. If you win a penalty shootout, you get 1 goal. And they also get a 1 goal for economic difference, so Portugal with a big win over England. And they're still in first place with a rating of 108.7. England nowhere to be seen. Brazil versus France. France with a huge victory over Brazil. Oh my gosh. France with a terrible start, but they keep on plugging away, and Brazil's going to fall into third because of that. I don't know where France is. They're in 18th place, below Australia. That's embarrassing. Above Tunisia. Germany versus Italy. 0-2 Italy. Italy's coming out of nowhere. They were way down below 10th place. Germany's going to fall there now. They're going to be in 12th, and Italy's going to move all the way up into 2nd place with a rating of 81.2. That's unbelievable, folks. Portugal versus France. France wins it. I don't know. I think Portugal's going to get a half goal here. That's not going to be enough. Oh, it's going to get them a whole goal. That'll probably keep them in first then, won't it? Yes, it does. Portugal narrowly staying in first place now. Well, I wouldn't say narrowly. Their rating is still over 10 points higher than Italy. Now, it is harder for these teams now. It's not exactly fair because a lot of these teams only played 3 games, so it's not a true measurement. Now these other teams got to play harder teams. So Germany does it 3-2 after economics are considered against Portugal. But that's not my fault. That's how the idiots that set up these tournaments, they don't know what they're doing. But I'm working with what we got here, folks. In the final game, Italy. Italy's in first place now. Can Italy hold on? They can. 2-1. Italy takes it because Germany beat Portugal and knocked them out. So Italy wins. They are the rightful champions of 2006. Italy first, Paraguay second, Brazil third, Angola and Croatia tie in fourth, Togo fifth, Ghana sixth, Portugal seventh, Argentina eighth, Ecuador ninth, Spain 10th. Honorable mention to Germany and Switzerland. Last place America, second to last Japan, and Serbia and Montenegro had a terrible tournament, finishing right below Saudi Arabia. Remember, folks, we're bringing you the best rankings in the world from the worst announcer in the world. In Italy, unbelievable performance. Didn't have a great start, but they finished strong and took first place. Unbelievable, folks.